easy for our family of customers to get the Chevrolet they want at the price they deserve. Woo! And in turn, you've helped us win the prestigious Chevrolet Dealer of the Year award 7 years in a row. Woo! Thank you, Southern Nevada, from everyone at Finley Chevrolet, Nevada's #1 Chevrolet volume dealer, located on the 215 Beltway between Rainbow and Jones, or at finleychevy.com. Finley Chevrolet, home of the fine new roads.
Hi, this is Audrey with some high-elevation rolling hill and mountain property northeast of Las Vegas, Saturday, July 20th, in very fun and cool Caliente, Nevada. This property, consisting of just 25 parcels, is being sold at a great price, and let me tell you that finding private land at a great price in this area, which is mostly government land, is nearly impossible. Here's an example of what I found. 5 acres with electric on a paved, quiet country road. It's beautiful, just $29.9. It is 8 minutes out of town, which offers a small casino, restaurants, bars, and the county hospital. This land is surrounded by 6 state parks, offers great hunting, off-road trails, and so much more. Grand opening of 25 parcels, 5 acres, starting at just $29.9. Call 866-THE-LAND today to learn more and arrange a visit, or visit 866theland.com. That's call or click 866theland.com.
This is JT, and after a long day of talking X's and O's, there's nothing like a Remy Martin XO cocktail. Perfect ending to my day. Remy Martin XO, Remy Martin 1738 Accord Royal, and Remy Martin VSOP, the official cognac of the JT the Brick Show.
This year is Terrible Herbst's 60th anniversary. And for that, we say thank you. Thank you, Southern Nevada. Looking forward to 60 more. Terrible Herbst. That's the best in the West, my friend.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
All right, Ralph Michaels, you're up.
Well, the Houston Astros are a pretty good division away favorite. When they are a division away favorite of 150 or more, and the total is under 10.5, meaning they have one of their regular starting pitchers going, they are 70 and 19.
70 and 19?
79%.
Wow.
Plus 40 units in that role.
That's pretty good.
They're playing the Angels tonight. And I'm going to throw out one CFL angle as well. The Toronto Argonauts are a train wreck.
They are so bad.
As an away dog, their last 21 games, they're 1-20 straight up, 4-17 against the spread.
And I would think that there might be some money showing on the other side of them tonight.
I didn't see the line move tonight. I just know they're playing tonight in that role.
It's an ugly football team right now. Vinny Magliulo, he's been around town for a long time. He's one of the sharpest people on the other side of the counter you're going to find. He is the Gone Gaming Sportsbook Director at South Point and the VSiN odds maker, and he's joining us right now. Vinny, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how's everything, my friend? Good to hear you, and I appreciate the kind words, my friend.
I have an idea that all the sportsbook people in Southern Nevada, as well as bettors, should all get together and petition the California Thoroughbred Association to make sure and start the Del Mar meet the same week as the All-Star break.
You know what, Dave? That's a good thought because we all wind up down there anyway, and when you have the All-Star game, which is a little bit of a respite for us, right? Then that would be a good thought. But to your point, I was chatting with our good buddy Matt Humans yesterday. Inevitably, we all wind up down there, and when you go, you run into people from the industry on both sides of the counter. Anyway, so I like your idea, buddy, and expand the meet, right? That would make the meet even longer.
It sounds good to me. I was down there last week. I mean, it's my 1 week to kind of just shut down from the gambling end. And so I went down and hung out at the beach, but it would have been more fun if the racing had started. The racing has started, though, and I know it's been kind of a bad year for Southern California racing with the problems at Santa Anita, but it sure didn't impact the crowd yesterday. Looks like the numbers and the handle were really good. At South Point, were the horse players out in force?
Out in force, to say the least. It's an understatement. Let me give you an idea, Dave. First of all, yesterday, opening day at Del Mar, over 40,000 people. It's become one of the more popular opening days around the country. The thing about it is, here's what it means to Nevada, right? $10 million last year wagered on this Del Mar summer meet alone in Nevada. It's we had about what is that? Just under 280,000 a day. So it's one of the more popular meets. It's a meet that again people feel connected to because of the fact that we as we mentioned earlier when we started, that people get down there, right, and you see visitors or our customers on a regular basis that are here daily, as well as our colleagues down there. So Del Mar, an important meet. Here's what's really important about the Del Mar meet, too, Dave. Bear in mind, they got some really good stakes races, right? We all know about the Pacific Classic, for instance, $1 million race for 3-year-olds and up at 1.25 miles. That's going to take place on August 17th. But you'll appreciate this as a sports handicapper. You can apply certain aspects of sports handicapping to the race side of life too, Dave, and that is this. The 2-year-old races that take place down there are really important because what they do is set up the 2-year-old races that are coming on Breeders' Cup weekend this year, November 1st and 2nd at Santa Anita, which get the early, especially on the boys' side. That's where you start to see the favorites for the Kentucky Derby Future Book next year. So the 2-year-old races, not only at Del Mar, but at Saratoga as well, pay attention to them. Gives you some early intel, if you will, on what's coming, particularly if you look at races like the Del Mar Debutante for fillies, 2-year-old fillies, which is August 31st, and then you got the Del Mar Futurity for the Colts on September 2nd. Those are important races as you look forward to next year's Derby Trail.
I'm also interested to see what happens this summer in terms of maybe being able to get some value in the 2-year-old races, especially with first-timers involved, by maybe going against Bob Baffert. And the reason I'm saying that is, every time Baffert runs a 2-year-old, the horse gets tremendous play.
Yes.
And they all won last year. It was just like, go bet the Baffert horse. You might only get $3 back in your $2 bet, but you could just stand in line and wait for the race to be finished and then pick up your money. That generally won't happen 2 years in a row.
Well, you bring up a good point, and Baffert is extremely popular. He draws attention, but you want to pay attention to train. But let's look at Baffert last year. He had about 44 starters last year, Dave, and he cashed in the money. They were in the top 3 about 64% of the time. But to your point, which I think is important, is this. If you can look to beat him, it's like betting. It's like having Tiger Woods in a major, right? And we're in the middle of the Open right now. You say, well, Vinny, Tiger gets all this attention. That's fine if you want to bet on him on the one hand, but it's also fine if you don't want to bet on him.
Right.
Why? Because you're going to get other golfers at a better price. It's the same principle here. Doug O'Neill had 156 starters go last year, and he hit it about he had a 44%. So and that's first, second, and third. Peter Miller. These are all good trainers. When you have trainers that have close to 100 starters, and they run in the money, Dave, you're going to make some money. Jerry Hollendorfer is another name, although he's had some controversy, unfortunately, as well. But also jockeys. When you look at jockeys, take a look at jockeys who have had successful meets there. You look at yesterday, Flavian Pratt. He had 3 winners on yesterday's opening day card. He hit in the money first, second, and third to win, place, and show last year about 52% of the time. So to your point, Dave, I think it's a good analogy to what we do on the sports side. You can also apply some of those philosophies on the race side as well.
Vinny, one thing to add with jockeys, on yesterday's opening day card, Mike Smith had 1 mount.
Yeah.
He won that mount. When Mike Smith's coming in for 1 race, the odds are pretty good that he's on a horse that he thinks he can win on.
Well, especially if he's paired with a certain trainer, and particularly Bob Baffert, right? Big Money Mike. He earned that nickname, and rightfully so. So yeah, and the other angle you want to look at is did somebody fly in? Did somebody fly in from the East Coast or the Midwest just for a particular race? And you might see that especially for some of those the 2-year-old races that we referenced earlier. Good point.
Let's talk about a couple of other things, and one is, and this really applies to VSiN as well, because VSiN got the jump as far as being an all-sports gambling network. And now with the expansion of legalized sports wagering nationwide, this is great for VSiN. And I know it's business that's away from Nevada, but if you take out the selfish standpoint of being a Nevadan, This really is great for betting as a whole. And I imagine it means you're really busy these days being the odds maker for VEASAN.
Well, that's a good point, and it's an important point, Dave. So, basically, the question becomes, has the expansion of sports wagering to now nearly 10 other jurisdictions in the country impacted Nevada negatively? I'm going to say no, and the reason I say that is, if you look at it overall, our handle has not dropped. It's New Jersey is the big player, right? I mean, you got 40 million people within a 2-hour drive, let's say, of Atlantic City. The fact that a handle in Nevada, a sports handle, betting handle, has not declined during that time period is an important note. The other thing is this: I got asked this a lot, over 40 years ago, and you'll remember this, Dave, because you're a veteran of the industry as well. When casino-style gambling expanded and when opened up on the boardwalk back in the mid to late 70s, there was a lot of folks that felt it would be the death knell for Las Vegas. Well, there's a few more hotel rooms up and down the boulevard and throughout the state now than there were back at that time. So what it does, though, is it makes it more mainstream. It creates more customers. I'm not going to deny that some folks will not come maybe as many times as they would during the course of the year, but they still do come for the Las Vegas experience.
Yes.
And the fact that we are an event-driven destination with a lot more offerings now, and everything put together is what people want to experience. And plus, the other jurisdictions are creating more customers. So I'm happy to say that the numbers are very encouraging for what we've seen so far this year.
Vinny Baliuolo is with us right now. He's the sportsbook, Going Gaming sportsbook director and VEASAN odds maker. And, of course, everybody in the gambling industry, basically everybody in town knows Chris Andrews.
Yes.
He's just one of the great guys in the business and has been for decades, author of a terrific new book, which I'm enjoying. He's had some health issues lately, and we are all pulling hard for Chris. What's the latest? How's he doing?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, Dave. And Chris Andrews, the director here at the South Point, and who's been he's been a close friend of mine for just about my entire career. Chris and I worked together, and we first met back at the Barbary Coast when it first opened back in 1979. And for those folks who are listening, say, "Where's the Barbary Coast?" That's the Cromwell today. I still call it the Barbary Coast.
So do I.
Yeah, exactly. But Chrissy, I'm happy to report. I mean, he's going through a treatment right now. He's receiving a bone marrow transplant down at USC. I've communicated with him. I did speak with him a couple of days ago, and we've texted over the course of the last 24 hours. Under the circumstances, the doctor's reports are very encouraging, but our buddy's in for he's in for a haul. But I'll tell you this: Chris is a warrior. Always bet on him because he's a quality person, and he's got a lot of good folks around him. So I appreciate you asking. I'm going to let him know that you were asking, Dave, and believe me, hopefully he'll be back soon. It'll be a little bit of time, but once we get into the fall, hopefully Chris will be back with us and on a regular daily basis.
And in the meantime, if you haven't gotten the book yet and you like gambling stories, I mean, that book is absolutely loaded with funny stuff, great stories that go way back.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Then One Day is the name of the book,
yep.
And it's doing extremely well, and the folks that are listening can certainly go to Amazon and pick it up. Anthony Curtis is the publisher. His company is the publishing company. And it's got some great stories, Dave. There's some names in there that folks will recognize. And even if you don't recognize them, you'll laugh and applaud. And they're all true. They're great stories. And Chris he's a terrific storyteller. I've actually got to hear them from him, tell them live. And actually, I got to witness a few of them as well, which makes the book even more enjoyable for me personally. But it's a great read. It's a fun read, and it's an accurate read. So for those interested in our history, I would encourage folks to take a look at it.
The beauty of it is, I thought to myself reading that book, it's like, because I've been around this town a long time too, and I've always been around the gambling business, and it's like, boy, I ought to do one of these too, because I've got more stories. Most of them don't involve me at all; they're just stories, and especially anybody who hung around the old Stardust.
Oh my gosh,
you've got to have some great stories. My favorite one is still the guy who the Sunday Night Lottery. It used to get so jammed at the Stardust, they had to go to a lottery system on Sunday nights when they